Clause 7.2 of ISO 9001. The title is Competence. The requirements listed in Clause 7.2 are 4 bullet points, but the number of documents and records needed to show compliance is actually higher. Competence can be defined by a combination of any of these 4 elements. First, education. Second, training. Third, skills. And fourth, experience. When the organization plans to hire a quality manager, the competence of the quality manager is defined by education, training, skills, and experience. When the organization plans to hire a staff bus driver, the competence of the bus driver is defined only by skill and experience. Education is not an important factor when describing the competence of a bus driver. So now it's clear that any combination of these elements can be used to define competence. When the organization plans to implement a quality management system or an environmental or health and safety management system, it's important to identify people from various functions or departments who can impact the requirements of these management systems. There are several functions or departments, including marketing, purchasing, quality control, stores, production, maintenance, packing, dispatch, human resources, effluent treatment plant, and safety. When planning to implement a quality management system, functions like environment and safety are not taken into account. When planning to implement environmental, health, and safety management systems, the environment, health, and safety functions are also taken into consideration. An important requirement is to define the competency for the identified people. This is called the minimum level of competency. It's also referred to as the expected or desired level of competency. Competency should be defined for each role. A role means the position or designation of a person. For example, I am a quality manager. I'm a safety officer. I am an environmental engineer. Here, quality manager, safety officer, and environmental engineer are considered roles. Within the quality control function, there are several roles such as quality manager, quality engineer, and quality technician. For a quality manager, the person is required to have a master's degree, 10 years of experience, and skills including calibration and test methods. For a quality engineer, the person is required to have a bachelor's degree, 5 years of experience, and skills including test methods, report preparation, and computer operation. For a quality technician, the person is required to have a bachelor's degree, 1 year of experience, and skills including sampling, titration, and analysis. The next important requirement is to compare the actual competency of people with the minimum required level of competency. For example, Mr. Ronald is a quality engineer on the first shift. Mr. Anoop is a quality engineer on the second shift. Mr. Emmanuel is a quality engineer on the third shift. There are 3 people working in shift operations, but all of them are quality engineers. The minimum level of competency required for the role of quality engineer is defined. For a quality engineer, the person is required to have a bachelor's degree, 5 years of experience, and skills including test methods, report preparation, and computer operation. If the actual competency of all 3 quality engineers is compared with the minimum level of competency, it is observed that all 3 quality engineers meet the education and experience requirements. But their skills are not consistent across all individuals. Mr. Ronald, who works the first shift, is weak in test methods. Mr. Anoop, who works the second shift, is weak in report preparation. Mr. Emmanuel, who works the third shift, is weak in computer skills. The requirement of the standard is to compare actual competency with the minimum level of competency. Any gaps found in competency regarding education, experience, skill, or training should be documented as identified training needs. The training need for Mr. Ronald, who works the first shift, is in test methods. The training need for Mr. Anoop, who works the second shift, is in report preparation. The training need for Mr. Emmanuel, who works the third shift, is in computer skills. There is no requirement that employees must be terminated if their actual competency does not meet the minimum competency level. If a gap is found in actual competency, it should be addressed and improved through certain actions or training. There should be an action plan or training schedule to close the competency gap. Once the training schedule is prepared, the training should be carried out. After the training or action is completed, its effectiveness should be evaluated to make sure the gap in actual competency has been addressed and improved. As mentioned in the previous example, the training need for Mr. Anoop, who works the second shift, is report preparation. Past records show that Mr. Anoop makes about 50 errors per month when preparing reports. After providing Mr. Anoop with training on report preparation for quality, it was observed that he now makes about 5 errors per month. This confirms that the training given to Mr. Anoop was effective in bringing about improvement. The final and important requirement is to retain documented information. This means keeping records to show that the requirements of Clause 7.2 have been met. A record of the minimum competency level required for each role. It may be reviewed and updated periodically. A record of an individual's actual competency. A record of identified training needs. A record of the training calendar or action plan. A record of training attendance and training effectiveness.